Hi everyone. I hope you're all having a great evening. I'm happy to present the final talk for the evening. The talk will be presented by Aman Sanduja, the co-founder of Zubi. He'll be talking about taking disruption to the industries with blockchain. Over to you, Aman.
All right. Thank you so much, Anandita. Thank you, Team Hack Against COVID. This is a wonderful initiative to actually unlock the potential of all the students and come up with new solutions which can actually disrupt. My name is Aman Sanduja. Thank you for having me. And quickly about myself, I'm a co-founder of Zubi. What we are doing at Zubi is helping all the engineers who are graduating from engineering colleges to learn about emerging technologies like blockchain, AI, IoT, cybersecurity, and game development, and also help them get a career opportunities in Indian and international companies, because we believe and we have been observing after reading report after one after the another that India is about 15 lakh engineers graduate out of 10,000 plus engineering colleges, and out of them, 80% of them are unemployable, which means they don't really have the necessary skill set. So I started my blockchain journey with the first application known as cryptocurrency. So I started following Bitcoin in early 2012-13. I did some trading in cryptocurrencies early days and also managed a portfolio. I have worked with Google, Pyramid Enterprise, and different other corporates. So I'm also an engineer by chance. I have taught close to 10,000 plus students and different other people on blockchain and emerging technologies. And like I said, I'm one of the early adopters to cryptocurrency and blockchain. So what made me got into the blockchain? Because in 2015, one of our family property got seized, and I started reading more about it. So I came across this term, or I came across this article which has a heading, "Trusting the Trustless Technology." So I started reading more about it from both economic lens, technology lens, practical lens, and financial lens. I think it was very exciting for me to get into this space. It's over 3.5 years that I've been working in the space of blockchain technology, and this is my second or technically third startup which I am running at this point in time. So if you look at what is happening across the globe, the distance between a professor and the student sitting in a classroom is now being replaced or being filled in by Zoom, StreamYards, Google Meet, or other platform. And I think it would be very difficult to go back to the normal wherein we are learning while sitting in classrooms through conventional mode, wherein professor is teaching and about 60, 100 people are listening to him or her. So what is going to happen maybe 6 months, 10 months, or a year down the lane, we don't really know. But there are certain other industries which got disrupted, from supply chain to retail to healthcare. Now, healthcare has left the hospitals and have entered into your homes through telemedicine, and pharmaceutical industry is picking up as well through telemedicine. Like, you don't really have to go to the doctor. I mean, you just can dial into a doctor wherever you are, and also tell him about your problems that you're facing, and then he will be able to tell you some medicine which you can order online. And then travel, not really sure that we'll be able to travel at the same pace. And even if I reflect back, I sometimes think that whether there was a need for me to travel to multiple countries, if things could have been done over Zoom and other things. But of course, there is a sense of a touch, or there is a sense of a connection or collaboration which can happen through physical meetings, which is not possible in the online meetings, because with online meetings, you might be doing a multitasking and while you are on the show. And of course, Hollywood and Bollywood things, these industries have been disrupted because now Netflix, Amazon, and other platforms have taken over OTT platform. So all these things are happening across the globe. It's not just India. And learning have moved from universities, four walls, to about four walls of your home, where you can learn while sitting or possibly sitting on a chair or lying on a bed, and somebody is there to teach you whatever you're looking to learn. So this is what we are doing at Zubi, specifically focusing on emerging technologies for engineering students. So if you look at quickly the growth of how the circuits have evolved over a period of time, 1958, we have got two transistors. In 1971, Intel 404 was launched, and then 2012, NVIDIA GPU, which is a graphical programmable unit. And over a period of time, things are getting faster, cheaper, and also the size is also getting more compact. So if you look at the processing power of an iPhone over a period of time, it's 120 million times faster than the NASA Apollo mission. It has actually what you call I would call it 1/10 of the cost, or 1/20th of the cost in terms of $3.5 million, which has been spent for NASA, versus cost of an iPhone. We already know that it's about $502,000. So that's the kind of a technological growth we would be witnessing, or we are witnessing, as we are going towards this new age of disruption, or new age of technological adoption. So exponential growth is happening. So I usually call it that humanity has to work very close to technology, or my vision in life is to actually make technology accessible and impactful, and very close to the human touch, so that they can actually use for the meaningful purposes. So if you look at exponential growth of the cameras, first digital camera by Kodak, the company which has got out of the business recently, got back into the business once they've announced the pharmaceutical what you call pivoting. So a company which got out of the business because Instagram, and then new cameras which are being picking up these days, like DSLR, all your new mobile phone cameras are cheaper, faster, and also gives you a better quality than the Kodak camera, which was there in 1976. So this is the kind of an exponential growth, and maybe exponential growth can be compared in what you call universities learning, pharmaceutical industry, or each and every industry which you can pick it across. So these are certain things which are happening, and if you are not prepared to take a leap onto these technologies, or these technologies, I think you will be left out. So the idea of organizing all these conferences, or idea of having an interaction with you all, is to understand, or sort of ignite a spark in you about emerging technologies, so that you can take some pointers and try to create, or convert a fire from that spark. So this is the purpose all about. Of course, in this half an hour, I cannot talk and teach you about blockchain. It's definitely a pretty long effort. Of course, things cannot happen in uh, one what you call one mode of communication, which we are doing through 30 minutes. So I think it would take some time, but I'm just giving you some of the what you call bullet pointers, and also trying to create or ignite a spark in you, so that you can take some of the things from here and try and replicate in your exercises and your learning program. So the linear growth to exponential, if you look at Kodak has started the big cameras, which started moving into film cameras, but exponential growth has happened with Instagram. And we all know that, because we were looking with instant photography and instant gratification, because you just wanted to click and you wanted to upload on your social media, so that you get the kind of a social visibility from there. So this is the kind of an exponential growth which is happening, which we have seen in the photography industry. And now if you look at the hospitality industry, from Hyatt big buildings, what it takes Hyatt to do it in about 50 years, Airbnb could do it in less than 10 years. So the kind of a revenue which Airbnb has clocked in. So this is how you move from what you call central monopoly to a democratization, as you start equipping or start giving a benefit to the traveler to live and stay with affordable prices, or you can have the similar qualities, because most of the travelers, especially the millennials generation, do not want to stay throughout the day in a hotel. They wanted to just wander around. So if you can provide me the similar facilities where I can cook, I can just have the equivalent convenience as I get it in Hyatt. So why not? I'll be able to offer 1/10 of the price. So this is how what you call exponential growth we have seen over a period of time. And so what is driving this? This is being driven by nothing but Murray's law, which so Gordon Murray has said that price performance of computer would double in 18 to 24 months, and what you call the cost would decrease as the performance will double. So we have seen with iPhone 5s, 6s, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, and of course 10 and 11. We have seen over a period of time that price performance of computer is doubling with new product which is being launched. And of course, over a period of time, if you just compare with respect to the iPhone 5 when it was launched versus iPhone 10 when it was launched, the actual comparative price was slightly lower in terms of the iPhone 10, because it was providing you more price performance and also the more effectiveness in the cameras and other things. So this is a kind of a parody which I wanted to just do it with you, that these are the people which do not really exist. So these are the faces which are algorithmically generated by machine learning system. So this is also possible. So you have what you call deep fakes which are happening. So all these things are putting a person, an individual person, in a worry, or making him or her raise different question that, am I consuming the right kind of a products? Am I being authentic in whatever services I am using? So if you look at what has happened, Marriott 5.2 million customer data got hacked. So if I'll tell you, I did an experiment 3.5 years back. I went to one of the largest hotel groups with my fake Aadhaar card, and I got what you call a room inside that hotel. So what is happening over there is they don't really they don't really validate or verify the kind of documents which you have. They just do a self declaration, which is why you sign on the photocopy paper, which they do it for your Aadhaar card or PAN card. So all these identity records are being stored in the hotel because you have already exited from that hotel, and you don't really know what will happen to your documents. And these documents are being forged, or these documents are being attacked by the hackers. So Marriott has faced about 5.2 million customer data hack in I think 2019, if I'm not wrong, or late 18. So 5.2 million customer data hack, which includes your passport. It could be your bank account details and other things. Correct. So if these things are sort of a prone or sort of a risky for anyone who would be interacting with the hotel chain. So what's the better way out? So the better way out can be the moment you check into a hotel, you're being verified and validated by the identity documents. And once you check out from the hotel, your identity stays with you. So it's like your physical wallet. As you share your identity details with anyone, you keep your identity back in your physical wallet. Similarly, with the digital world, if some kind of a mechanism which can be provided to you, where you share your digital identity details, and then you can keep it back as you check out from the hotel. So this is possible through a technology called blockchain. I'll talk about it, how it will work. Equifax hack, another on the massive hacks which has happened with the credit rating companies based out of US. Close to 100 million people got compromised with the data and identity. Cambridge Analytica, the data has been used for election campaigns of Trump, and then about different data points have been taken from your Facebook, which can actually tell the behavior whether you are more democratic or more Republican. So this was the kind of things which are happening on the internet. So internet is a beautiful invention, but there are certain other things which are lacking on the internet. One beautiful thing is which is missing on the internet is the share of value or the lack of value transfer. So how does it work? I'll explain to you as we go further. So if I ask you a question, what is more valuable, your phone or the data inside? Of course, the question would be my data inside. But are we really worried about the data? Are we really concerned about the data? Or are we really what you call bothered about what data we are sharing with any of the social media or any of the third party or any of the digital transaction which we are doing? Correct. So if we do not really have a visibility what's going around with our data, then it can be compromised. We can be actually hacked, or our data can be hacked, or our data can be compromised as well. So this is one of the tweets by what you call Rachel. She has said the Google Docs can lock you out, and it has actually happened in 2017 where she was not able to access the Google Docs. So these are the certain things which are problem with respect to what you call FANG economy, which is Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, because these are the central institution or third-party vendors which actually keep your data in control. So another example is I went on a Bumble dating site and then they have closed my account. Some users reported that it could possibly be me because some of the things which has happened. So this is all fishy because you're providing your details, you're verified, and you don't really know what's happening on the other side of the data, or on the other side where your data is being stored. So one of the interesting example I can talk about is LinkedIn. You all have accounts on LinkedIn. So anyone can write that you were a member of parliament of Tanzania government, but nobody is there to verify or validate. Correct? So a lot of people have uploaded their fake documents. So with these platforms, one is your data security. Second is there is no authentication mechanism. Third, you are being in control with these third-party vendors, or you are being controlled with these central institution, and you do not really have the complete authority on your data, or you do not really have the complete authority on the digital transaction which you are doing. So these are the challenges with internet and social media platforms, or internet with any other digital activity which we are doing. And one of the things which you might have read, that Arogya Setu was also under a radar of hackers, where about 90 million identities were at stake. So if you're using any kind of an Apple or app, or through Google Play Store or App Store, of course you have some privacy conditions which you have to, what you call, given access to. And one of the interesting thing, if you look at, is Snapchat privacy policy says that we don't let the other user save your image or file, but we don't say that we don't save it. So that's the kind of a breach which we can end up having in terms of the technologies which we are using as we are moving towards a digital transformation. So considering all these things, there is a solution to privacy, there is a solution to authentication, there is a solution to tamper proof, there is a solution to what you call security with this technology called blockchain. So I'll talk about briefly what blockchain can do. So these are certain things which you can look into it. So some of the large invention which has happened is printing press to engine to internet, which is Industry Revolution 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. And can the 4.0 be backed by blockchain, where devices can fetch some details and artificial intelligence can provide an insights on top of it. So this is the history, quick history about from mainframes to blockchain, how we have evolved over a period of time. So the biggest question we are having is trust. We have trusted Punjab National Bank, we have trusted Yes Bank, we have trusted various other organizations, we have trusted various other companies, but at the end of the day, what has happened? Our trust is being definitely questioned over there. So this trust market is not really small. It's of $100 trillion in size. So if you're looking to solve a problem of a trust market, the trust could be about buying a property. How do you know that this property is not being sold to multiple people? Buying a new car or buying an old car, how do you know that there is only one single owner? Or going or graduating from IIT Delhi and then getting a degree out of it, how do you know that this is the authentic degree or not? Or going to any other what you call hospital, and then when you have exited from the hospital or check out from the hospital, how do you know that they would not use your data to generate some pharmaceutical medicine details? So all these things comes in a manner of a trust. So when I said trust is a $100 trillion market, and this $100 trillion market needs to be addressed through various other solutions and various other technologies. And trust in the NGOs are also declining. I'm sure all of you have invested in Kerala flood relief fund, and you might have invested in Pradhan Mantri COVID relief fund as well. So how do you know that the fund is actually taking the right use of money and what you call making the right use of the money and actually helping the end user get the benefit out of it? So if you do not really have an end-to-end visibility, if you do not really have a complete transparency, then you would not be able to what you call gain some kind of a surety or authenticness that this is the right thing which we are doing in terms of a contribution. So these are the things which are happening over a period of time. The trust in NGOs are declining. There are about 20-25% certificates, education certificates, which the engineer or different people carry in their folders. These are not authentic. These are not validated or verified. So if you're applying for any kind of a job, they do a verification. They take about 8 to 10 days. Then when you're applying for a higher studies, they will again do a verification. Can there be a mechanism where everything can be stored on a single database, or everything can be stored on a single ledger, where everyone can see what's happening with your education certificate, or what's happening with your what you call the documents which you are trying to move from one place to another? We have seen Lehman Brothers 2008 financial crisis. You can also watch this movie called The Big Short. PNB case, we know what has happened. One day, fine morning, $2 billion from a bank has been moved from one account to another, just because there was not one document which is being shared with multiple parties. It's called letter of credit. You can read in detail about that. So letter of credit, had it been on blockchain, so this fraud could have been saved actually. So these are some of the what you call functionalities of a blockchain. Yes Bank fiasco, we know what has happened with Yes Bank. So if you see that Hollywood is also concerned, or Hollywood is also worried about it, which is why they've started making a lot of movies on that. It could be Big Shot to Inside Lehman Brothers to various other things. So you can watch some of the movies and actually get to understand how financial institutions work. So, like I said, internet is a fantastic innovation, but one thing which is lacking on internet is the value transfer. What do I mean by value transfer? Let's take an example. If Anandita and I are sitting across the bench and I give an apple to Anandita and says that, Anandita, this is an apple which is for you, correct? But if I have to give an apple to Anandita on the internet, I can send across a picture, then Anandita can question, how do I trust that this is the original picture of an apple? You have not screenshot, you have not saved an image, you have not what you call photoshopped it and sent it to me. Correct? So these are the things which is actually put me in a question that how do I actually prove Anandita that this is the original apple? So like I said, whenever or until you are in a physical environment, it's fine. You can share your passport, you can share your identity document like Aadhaar, PAN card and other things. You can share it with them or you can show it to them and keep it back in your wallet. But when it comes to the digital transaction, there comes a challenge because you do not really have an end-to-end mechanism to provide the transparency. So this is the main problem with the internet, that you do not really have the complete visibility on the value transfer or any kind of a transaction which you're doing on the internet. Over a period of time, what has happened? We have evolved from platform economy to sharing economy. Now it's a time for peer-to-peer economy. Quickly moving for that. If you look how money has evolved over a period of time, we started with barter. Barter failed because there was a lack of value transfer. If you're giving me potatoes, I'm giving you tomatoes. There is no actually what you call balanced value transfer, which is happening. Then we moved to metals. Then we moved to different other things in between before the dollars. So metals were very difficult to carry from one place to another. There was also fear of getting it stolen as well. Then we moved to dollar. But what has happened with dollar in 1973? President Nixon has removed that what you call dollar is not backed by gold anymore, and any country can print the number of dollars which they require. So earlier it was what you call defined or determined by the kind of a gold or the quantity of a gold which is kept in Federal Reserve, but that law has been removed. And from there we move to credit cards and debit cards, which are prepaid cards, and then now it's a time for Bitcoin, which is a digital currency. So it's an evolution, not a revolution. So what is happening over here is, if you look at 1947, when India got its independence, INR to dollar was about 8 rupees, and now it's 75, 76. Correct. So by the time we would be about 120, 125, I think our economy would not be sustainable. So you need to look into it why this is happening, because it's happening majorly because of an inflation, and inflation is being caused because the currency is being printed more. You do not really have a limited supply because it's not backed by gold. And second, it's you do not really have a fractional attribution. You can have $1, you can have 10 paisa, you can have ABCXYZ, but you do not really have multiple digits, about 8 decimal places or 10 decimal places. And second is it's not scare. I mean, any government can print as and whenever they require. Like US is printing dollars at this point in time, which is why the inflation is picking up. Correct. So if you look at Dairy Milk chocolate, 3 years back, 10 rupees Dairy Milk chocolate, which used to be sizable, and if you buy a 10 rupee Dairy Milk chocolate at this point in time, it looks like a candy. Just a second. So now we have about $200 billion in market cap with 65% dominance held by Bitcoin. These are all stats which you can read about it. I'll quickly move how and what blockchain is to offer. So the people start getting into the space of cryptocurrency because there was a price action. Bitcoin moved from few cents to dollars to few $1,000, and now it's sailing somewhere between what you call $11,500 to $11,600. And then the interest start picking up because what technology has to offer was very much phenomenal. And then new ideas started coming in, which is why startups and projects started realizing that this technology can actually change the face of internet and can actually bring in a lot of new application which will be helpful for people to use, or which can actually give the control in the hands of end users rather than the organization. So one good thing about Bitcoin is it has fixed supply over 21 million. About 19 million Bitcoin has already been mined. It happens through solving a problem. You actually found a nonce, and then it is being validated through people on the spreadsheet. So I'll talk about it in brief, and then maybe I'll open up for questions. So Bitcoin, you cannot double spend, which means once a Bitcoin is spent, it is being recorded on a ledger, and your Bitcoin is yours, which means you are the CEO of your own bank. So blockchain is nothing but a virtual computer that actually runs on the top of the internet or physical computer and provides strong, auditable, game theoretical guarantees, and the code actually runs and will happen to operate as it is designed. So this is how the traditional centralized model works, because you transact with the bank and then bank transact with the other user in terms of a loan. And this is how your database and other things works as well. But with blockchain, it removes the central institution and gives the power in the hand of a user. Let me tell you how does it work. Imagine you have a family where your father is earning, your mother is earning, your sister is spending, you have a maid, you have a driver, you have 2, 3 other people to give the money to. So whatever your father makes, he adds on the Excel sheet and says that I have earned X rupees per month. Whatever you makes, you will add X rupees, you will add it on the Excel sheet and say that I have made X rupees per month. Whatever your mother gives it to the maid, she will also write it. So everyone can see what's happening with the money which is being either earned by a family member or spent by a family member. Everyone has a transparency. And what if this Excel sheet is being what you call transferred from one generation to another, like your grandfather used to maintain, your father used to maintain, and now you are maintaining, your son or daughter will maintain. So if this sheet is being linked to each other, and everyone can see what has happened 20 years back, 5 years back, 10 years back, because you have a complete history on it, correct? And then you have a transparency. And third is nobody is controlling that. Everyone is maintaining that. Everyone who is a part of the family, like you, yourself, your mother, everyone is maintaining that. It's like train coaches. Every train coach has different what you call seats or berths, correct? Every berth has a different number. Similarly, in a blockchain, if I would remove or try to break the word block and a chain, it's basically a chain of blocks, which means every block has certain transaction. Each block has a specific size, like in Bitcoin, its size as 1 MB, and different other blockchain has different sizes. So in each block, there are different transactions which are being mined over a period of time. So if you're sending me 1 Bitcoin on the internet, that transaction will be recorded. The transaction goes to a block. Block gets mined and block gets linked to each other, like train coaches are linked to each other, correct? So this is how it works in blockchain, where you have blocks which are connected to each other, and each block has different transactions. So you have centralized system, you have distributed system. This is how blockchain works. You wanted to send a transaction, then a transaction is being picked by a miner. Miner validates the transaction. While validating, he checks whether you have a balance to send the money, whether the signature which you have attached with the transaction is authentic or not. So like as you sign a check, right, your bank manager validates that the signature on the check is matching the signature which you provided while opening up an account, and the person you are sending their money, he also exists on the network. So these are the certain things which the network also checks while transferring the money from your account to somebody else's account, and you do all these things through a wallet. Your wallet is connected to a network which is called a blockchain network. So like I said, blockchain is the second revolution after the internet. It will do for transaction what internet did for communication and information, which means actually internet did the communication possible across the borders. Blockchain will actually do it for transactions across the border as well. So this is how it is happening with this new technology called distributed ledger technology, or blockchain. So I've already explained how does it work, keeping the time in mind. These are some of the properties of blockchain. It's immutable in nature. It has smart contracts. You want to learn more about it, you can reach out to me, or maybe you can follow Zubi Telegram channel, or maybe you can reach out to one of our members, and then he or she would be able to keep you updated about some of the courses which we are launching. And it's cryptographically secured, which means it has public key and private key. It has decentralized consensus and digital assets, which means your Bitcoin, Ethereum, and different other currencies, which are programmable currencies. So the benefits are, with respect to the conventional technology, there's no single point of failure because everyone in the network is maintaining that. It's designed for permission, it's tamper-proof, and it actually enforces the trust. So a lot of governments are working on this technology, from Europe to US to Singapore to Dubai. And some of the use cases of blockchain, from what you call travel, which means your what you call your boarding pass can be on a blockchain, and then you don't really have to share your boarding pass and carry a physical document. And wherever you go to a new country, you just have to scan the retina through facial recognition, and you will be allowed in a new country. Similarly, education, your education records can be on a blockchain, which means whichever organization or university you are applying for, you don't have to bother for verification and validation. You can simply say that this is the certificate which is being issued on a blockchain technology. So all these Ubi courses, what we are doing, we are giving the certificates to all of them on blockchain, not on physical or digital certificate. So real estate, your registry can be on blockchain as well, which actually gives the confidence to a buyer that this is an authentic land, or this is the property which I'm buying is an authentic. So all these are use cases, and this is what you call uh, a flow diagram, or this is what you call a sort of a analysis when to use blockchain, when you have a document based system, when you have a question of trust, when you have a lot of a manual operation, when you have high fees for intermediary like banks. When somebody is transferring money from United States to India, it takes about 3 days, and then you lose some money in terms of fees. Instead, you can send a Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies like Ripple, which can be transferred in less than 10 minutes, and then you don't have to pay that significant amount of fees as well. So I've already talked about education assessment, and quickly talking, the wine traceability is one of the applications. Considering I don't really have much of a time, I'll just move towards the end. So this is how I got into the space. Like family property got seized, and then financial crisis in 2008-9, which has happened. And we were about to receive a cross-border payment from United States because one of my cousins work over there. So when we received the money, there was about few what you call percentage of transaction fees, which has been given to the third party. We thought that it's a time to look at some of the alternatives like cryptocurrency or other applications. So is India blockchain ready? Of course not. India is about only 5,000 people who are equipped to work in blockchain technology, which is why Zubi is working towards making this or bridging the gap between industries and university, wherein we are equipping the students on emerging technologies and helping them get what you call certain skills which they can work in emerging technologies like blockchain, AI, IoT, cybersecurity, and game development. And I think we have been pretty much successful so far what we have been doing. And if you want to know more about it, so you can reach out to us on Telegram channel, or you can maybe reach out to me on LinkedIn or on my email. So from the ideation, now it's a time for prototype or pilot phase. I think the awareness is also very much important for all of us to develop the solution. The ground reality is the 820 million people suffer from hunger worldwide. 50% of the unbanked adult exist in 7 economies. India has also a large number of unbanked people. 25% of drugs are fake in India. 1 in 15 people suffer from identity fraud, whether it's tamper, whether it's security, whether it's something else. And 1.8 million jobs are expected to lose by 2020, I would call it 2025, by artificial intelligence, blockchain, and IoT. So it's a time right time now to prepare for these technologies and actually disrupt. Don't be a consumer, be a creator. And 6.1% is the unemployment rate in India. So COVID has changed different things, and I think it's disrupting the education as well. So I would end my presentation over here. Thank you so much. You have been a patient audience. Let me see if I have some questions. Okay, great. I don't think so that I have any questions, but happy to take further questions if you have. Maybe you can type it out and send across an email one at zubi.io, Raman at zubi.io, and maybe you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Thank you so much. Let me just see if I have some questions to take. All right, so there are no questions. My apologies. I have been a little fast on the presentation, but I was just keeping a check on the clock. And you can reach out to me should you have any doubts. Thank you so much, Anandita and team. And it was definitely a pleasure to interact with the audience over here.
Thank you, Aman. Thank you for the talk. It's truly insightful. All right.